because today what we're expecting to happen in outside of that courthouse is more than 200 pastors are going to
Right.
gather there after the comment was made by the
That's
defense
right.
attorney that he didn't want Black pastors in the courtroom after an appearance by Jesse Jackson. Ben, do you know? I think you said that they're anticipating a lot more than 200 pastors.
Yeah.
Do you have any insight as to what churches might be there today?
Yes. Good morning, Georgia, and good morning, Pastor Galloway. We are here at the Brunswick County Courthouse, and we have started seeing pastors gather already. So far, they're gathering in front of the courthouse, as you can see behind me. They are coming out to make a statement for the people. And then on the south side of the courthouse, they are gathering with a large stage, a lot of seats ready for the pastors to do their prayer vigil. We are expecting over 200 pastors. Pastor Jamal Bryant from New Birth Baptist Church there in Atlanta is spearheading this, along with Reverend Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, and others.
No, thank you so much, Ben. And Anthony, I'd love to have you chime in here as a pastor yourself. What what were you thinking when you heard the defense make even ask for a mistrial because of the presence of a Black pastor inside the courtroom?
So again, this continued pattern is what was going through my mind. This was the conversation of the pastors in our local areas. We were deciding how to support folks who wanted to go and be a part of this event. So they are AME pastors, Baptist pastors, Kojic pastors, all across the country who are showing up and are present right now. The thing that was going through my head mostly, though, was this continued pattern of trying to present, in particular, Black folks as threats. Somehow that our presence makes it impossible for something to get done. In this case, that's what was going through my mind. I just saw it as a continuation of what was going through Travis McMichael's mind when he rolled up on Ahmaud Arbery. So that was going through my mind. The other piece that was coming through my mind, though, was the important need to show up in solidarity. Remember, it was Black pastors who Lincoln tried to gather in order to repatriate us back to the continent of Africa, who said no, and to try to gather Black pastors again. Sherman did for the 40 acres and a mule conversation. So Black pastors represent something in this country that is a threat to white supremacy, and I think that was what was going through the minds of myself and many other Black pastors that I was talking to. In response to that, it's like, oh no, okay, it's time to pull up and show up.
Well, and I want to go back to Ben here because I know he is live. Ben, we're talking about men of faith here who are going to be praying specifically with Ahmaud Arbery's mother, right? Helping console her and helping her get through this difficult moment. Have you been able to speak to any of the pastors and why they feel like it's so significant to be here in this moment?
I've had a chance to speak with a couple of pastors, and they are still gathering, Georgia. The sentiment is simply this, and it's really what Pastor Galloway just said. The role of the Black pastor in history has been significant, and they're showing up again to show the significance of the Black pastor, the Black church, and the Black radical tradition.
And Ben, it brings me back to this conversation you and I have all the time about Black protesting, right? When Kaepernick took a knee, oh, that's terrible. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. But then after George Floyd was murdered, we saw buildings burnt down, and then people are like, please don't do that. Take a knee if you have to, right?
That's
and
right.
then now we're seeing pastors who are coming, standing in solidarity, offering, pathways for families to express themselves through their faith. Very, very peaceful way of gathering and coping with such a difficult moment. Yet and still there is a protest to this family having any ability to lean into their spirituality in this moment.
That's right, because they understand the spirituality, and Pastor Galloway can speak to this far better than I can, but the intersection of spirituality and action. Faith without works is dead, according to many of the pastors that are here. And so their faith in action is to stand up for those families in real time. Besides, Georgia, what good is our faith if it's not here to serve us in some of the most difficult times that you could possibly imagine?
And why is that considered a threat?
And
that's the question of the hour.
That is the question. I want to remind us that in the George Floyd case in Minnesota, we saw two clergy marches, one in Minneapolis and one in St. Paul, that garnered intersectional, interfaith, and interracial clergy from across the state. Over 200 gathered in each of those cities and marched. What it represented is the same thing it represented on Bloody Sunday at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. When you have this interfaith, it's a huge threat to business as usual that would start to address in these systems of oppression that we are talking about. That's the threat. And it's a lot harder to keep that going when you are bringing faith leaders into the mix, because now I have to question the moral compass of this, which bends towards justice. And so that is the threat to me that's coming up and being represented here.
And Ben, do you anticipate that this gathering, is it going to last the entire day, or have you gotten any insight as to how long members in the faith community will be outside the courtroom today?
You know what, to be honest with you, this is starting to have a festival style feel in terms of the number of people who are here, the amount of media that's here. I had a chance to speak with Roland Martin. Their camp is set up right here next to me. He's going to be broadcasting live from here at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So we have an expectation that this is going to be an all day event. The prayer vigil portion of this begins at 11 o'clock in the South parking lot. And we are going to cover it from there. But George, I do expect that this is going to be going on all day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And let's just be clear. The presence of a Black pastor did not qualify for a mistrial.
That's right.
But Ben, thank you so much for being there this morning. We will continue to check in with you. Is there any other updates that we should be aware of as you're there live right now?
Georgia, we're just keeping an eye on all of the action. There are quite a few police. The police presence here is strong, but that's to be expected around the courthouse. We do expect everything to be pretty peaceful today, such as the presence of the Black pastor. So we're just going to be keeping an eye on all the developments.